What's up, folks? So I was walking by my septic alarm panel and I noticed that my red light was on. I've actually muted the alarm itself, but we walk by here every day, so I don't keep the audible alarm on. So I noticed the red light's on, which could mean one of two things. First thing it could be the pump. Could be an issue with the pump switch. So I'm gonna go ahead and look at the gray water tank, and water is way down there. So it does not look high. It looks like water's way down there. It's probably not the pump. The other thing I can do is come back over here, and I've got a pump test switch on the side, so I'll hold that down for a while, let the pumps start to run, and then I'm gonna run over and see, because I don't have line of sight to my sprinklers from here, but I'll run over and see if they're working. And yeah, they're working out there. So it does not look like an issue with my pump. So next thing to look for is my aerator, and I pulled the lid off here, and I've got ants everywhere. Ants already ruined my alarm panel once, or not my alarm panel, my gate control panel. It looks like maybe they've messed up my aerator pump. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this apart and see what I see. First, I'm gonna go get my fire ant killer, and I'm gonna take care of these ants. All right, so the first step is to turn off the breaker to your septic system. So over here, I've got breaker number 22. Go ahead and flip that off, and then we'll head out and make sure that our panel doesn't have voltage running to it. Don't want to be electrocuted. All right, so as you can see, my alarm light's off now. So that's because I turned the breaker off. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove my screws from my panel so we can open it up and get to the wiring. All right. And this is what the wiring looks like inside. We've got 3 breakers, local breakers inside the panel. One for the pump, that runs the water pump. This one's for the compressor, so that's what we're going to be working on. And then this one runs the alarm. What you'll want to do is find your pump wiring. So I've got wiring coming up from, your compressor wiring. I've got wiring coming up from my compressor through this conduit up into this hole. So I'm going to want to clean out some of this silicone that is in here, so that we can get to the wiring and remove the old pump wiring. So I'll take I just have brought a flathead screwdriver, take that, pry some of the silicone out of here. I assume they did this to make sure no ants came up through the conduit. I may need to disconnect that conduit too from my box just to really get at it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Use my screwdriver to loosen this nut on the conduit. I just realized I'm basically standing in the fire ant mound from yesterday, but it looks like it's not active anymore. So it looks like my fire ant killer did a pretty good job getting rid of them. All right, so now I'm just gonna kind of pull this out. My tube here, I'll disconnect that. Let me go ahead and disconnect my conduit wires. So it's 3 wires. I've got one, there's one that goes to the ground. So use my flathead screwdriver, remove that one from the ground. Got one white going to my neutral lug over here. Make sure I get the right one. That is this one. Pull that one out. And I've got one black wire going to my compressor labeled line. Now I should be able to pull this conduit away from the panel. What else is hooked up? Nothing. There we go. All right, so that's my conduit with all the stuff coming up from the compressor. So now I'll go ahead and proceed to remove the rest of this silicone. Okay, so I went ahead and removed the valve cover that's covering up my compressor. And so this is what it looks like. It has this tube that runs up from this overflow. It kind of diverts air up through there, and it would activate an alarm up in the panel if there's any issues related to that. It also has this wire. This is what, you know, the wires that go up through the conduit and would go up into the panel and connect to the ground, the neutral, and the compressor line, which is what provides power to the compressor to allow it to run. And then it has this air tube over here. So this is what goes to the pipe, which goes to the septic system to provide the aeration. So looks like fire ants are mostly dead. There's a few lingering around. I'll have to kind of contend with those as I get this job done, but they're pretty sluggish. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull the wire out of the conduit. I'm going to leave that tube in as much as I can because I shouldn't need to replace the tube. So we'll go ahead and pull the wire out and get this get this ready to install the new one. All right, I don't think I'm gonna need that much silicone on the new one. They didn't really make it very easy to fix. All right, so now I'm ready. I've got my pump, should be or my compressor, my new one should be arriving today. I ordered a high blow XS90, I believe. I'll confirm once I get back to my Amazon order, but shipped overnight, should get here quickly. Hopefully I get it soon so I can get this thing installed today. One issue is if you let your compressor stay idle for a long time in an aerobic system, it'll actually turn it to anaerobic, and that will cause the breakdown of all of the gross stuff to take a lot longer. You'll end up getting much less clean water coming out the sprinklers. So you don't want to let it sit like this for a long time. You really want to get that taken care of quickly. It's been out for about 24 hours. I haven't noticed any smells or anything, but I want to make sure to get this fixed quickly. If you leave it for a few days, I think that's when it starts to really cause problems. So I'll be back when I get the new pump, or the new compressor. I keep saying pump, the new compressor in, and we'll start to get this switched out. Hopefully I'll be back and up and running by the end of the day. Say hi to Alfredo. Hi, Alfredo. He's sitting in the catio. What's up, bud? This is one of my previous projects that my wife enlisted me for. It's a catio, so it comes from a bathroom window. I built this walkway, or a catwalk, if you will, to this catio, which has multi-tiers, some ramps to go up and down, a scratching post, fake grass in it. Cats seem to really like it. They like to spend some time outside. Our cats are indoor cats, so they get to hang out outside, watch the birds. We've got a bird feeder right over here. But yeah, that's another one of my projects. Maybe I'll do a video on it at some point. Oh, there's a second cat up there hiding. That's Paisley. She looks like she's bug watching or bird watching. Hi, Paisley. What's up, little slug? We're working this way across the sidewalk. All right, folks, so my compressor pump didn't show up until about 8:30 last night, and so I didn't get a chance to install it last night. So here we are in another day. We had some strong storms and tornadoes in the area. Thankfully, we only had a few tree limbs come down, but nothing major. To the north of us, there was pretty nasty damage from tornadoes. But I'm gonna go ahead and unbox it now. So again, this is the XP80 from Hyblo. Got it off of Amazon. All right, so inside the box, I've got, this is a little fitting for my alarm. So this helps provide pressure to the alarm, and if it senses that it's no longer getting pressure, then the alarm will trip. That's what actually was happening before. With my previous pump, when it died, the alarm wasn't detecting any pressure anymore, and so I'll be needing to install that. A couple manuals, and the pump itself. Let's see. All right, so this is what the pump looks like. Hyblo on the other side. You can see model number XP80-ST012, 120 volts. We've got our air outlet. This is where the alarm fitting will install. And then it comes with a 120 volt plug on it, which we're going to cut off and hardwire to our system. I've got an outlet nearby. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in, make sure it works. All right, you can see it works. So now we're ready to install. Oh, the other thing that it came with is this fitting. My system already has this on it. I'll probably just reuse what's on there. But in case you need it, you'll have this fitting too to connect it to a pipe. Okay, first step is I'm gonna remove this little screw. I'll set my fitting over there. my screwdriver and remove that screw so I can put my alarm fitting in. All right, so this fitting just screws right into that hole. And I'll need to get something to tighten it. I'll use a little wrench and tighten it a little bit more just to make sure it doesn't come out. But that's what that'll look like. Now we'll go ahead and set this on the pad. So I removed the years of ant mounds that had gathered up there. So these are just little pinch clamps. So I'll scoop this up. I've pulled this back already. Put the tube all the way on, pinch this, and slide it back on. So that's nice and tight. So that's ready to go. And then on this end of my tube that goes up to the alarm, this is what'll go onto that small fitting once I get it tightened. All right, now we'll open our panel back up. I have a pair of wire strippers and cutters. We already tested the pump to make sure it's good. Now I'm gonna go ahead and cut the end of the plug off so I can feed it up through the conduit. I think I'll be able to get it through this conduit without wire snake, fish tape or anything. So make sure all the excess dirt's out of there. Just start pushing this up through. I don't know, we'll see. It's a little tight. If you can't get it fished through on your own without fish tape, use fish tape. Seems to be going, but we'll see. Trying to keep it tipped upside down to keep gravity on my side. It's getting a little sticky. Alright, I'm up near the top here. I should be able to grab it. Just hitting the lip of the end of the conduit. There we go. All right. So this I'm going to put back in the position I had it before, over here. I'll undo this because we're going to want to run it back down through. So now I'll put these wires up through the hole, and the tube, the alarm tube, back up through that hole. They had drilled another hole that goes back down through the box, and that will hook right back up to the bottom of that alarm. They've got a lot of extra tube here. You may want to get rid of some of it. I probably will cut the end off this tube since the end is pretty rough at the bottom by the pump. Trying to pull all this extra out. Back up there. bit, and I'll set this conduit in place. All right, I'll work with the wire nut in a second. I want to make sure I don't kink my tube here to restrict the airflow. You want to make sure that's nice and open. Pretty good. A little restriction in that little tube. I think that's just because the pad has settled a little bit. All right, next step is I'll grab my wire strippers. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the extra wire on just in case I need it. So I'll try my best not to nick any of the wires. Just gently cut around with my wire cutters on this sheathing. Give it a little twist. All right, so I've got my 3 wires, my ground, my line, and my neutral. I'll strip those back. Okay, now I've got my stuff ready to install. All right, so now we're going to turn our local breakers back on. So let's start the pump, compressor. I hear sound, that's a good sign. And the alarm. Now you can see the alarm is on. And that is because I have not hooked up this tube yet. So this tube, I'll use that. This tube needs to hook back up to there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my wire cutters, because that's what I have. I'm gonna cut some of this tube back. I don't need all of that excess tube, so I'll just snip that right there. And all you do is take the end of this tube. All right, I've got my tube hooked on now. See, it's not blowing any air anymore. If we go back up, you can see the alarm has reset itself. It's off. Again, that's, if I unhook that, you can see the alarm turns on. So if you have an alarm tripped, that could be one of your problems. Okay, so we are back in business. The pump itself operates pretty quietly, just a low hum. It's similar to my old one. Hopefully this one lasts more than 4 years. They do offer rebuild kits for some of these. What happens is there's a magnetic mechanism in there that kind of vibrates a diaphragm side to side. That diaphragm can become broken or cracked and cause it to stop pumping. And then there's safety mechanisms inside to stop itself. So what I'm actually going to do is take my old one and see if I can rebuild it, and maybe I can sell it. But yeah, this is that's about it. Hopefully you learned something in the video. If you did, please do like and subscribe. I appreciate the support. Subscriptions are really what help me a lot. So if you can hit that subscribe button, I would sincerely appreciate it. All right, thanks for watching.